Hope you had a wonderful start to the week. It's a Monday evening from here, Kampala, Uganda, from wherever it is that you're catching us from. Time check is about 25 minutes past the hour of 6 p.m. and it is transfer deadline day, the January transfer, and plenty of deals are making the rounds. Manchester City are adding yet another player to their ranks after signing already the likes of Mamouche in this January transfer window. João Felix is destined for Italy. That and more, Matthias Telles is on the board. So there is plenty of movement across the different leagues in the world as far as transfers go down. Will Arsenal sign a striker on deadline day? We are waiting to see whether that will come to pass. But for now, let's kick things off at Manchester City. After their 5-1 defeat yesterday at the Emirates Stadium at the hands of Arsenal, Manchester City have gone and raided FC Porto for midfielder or holding midfielder Nico Gonzalez. The 23-year-old will join the citizens there in a 60 million euro fee. It is Manchester City will be paying his release clause for the 23-year-old to join them. Now, of course, we'll have to first pass through some of these, and then maybe at a later stage we can get to digest them a little deeper. Sorry if I'm shaking my head a lot. I have some pain in my neck here. But looks like João Felix, the Portuguese international, is on his way out of Chelsea to AC Milan on loan for the rest of the season. Remember, in the morning, for those of you that did watch our morning episode, that's the 3-minute short about that we did share. We did discuss about João Felix, who was attracting interest from Aston Villa, but it looks like he is now destined for a move to Italy. Yes, he's on the verge of joining AC Milan in a package that is believed to be in the region of £5 million. That's on loan for the remainder of the season. So remember, AC Milan have already signed Kyle Walker for Manchester City on loan until the end of the season. That was some time back. Looks like they are making all the moves in this transfer window. And then AC Milan's Noah Okafor is joining Napoli. That is again on a season-long loan. For the remainder of the season on loan with an option, but not an obligation to buy for about 25 million euros. The loan package fee, according to Fabrizio Romano, will be 2 million euros there for Noah Okafor to join Napoli there, who are under the charges of Antonio Conte there, the Italian manager. And then, of course, the biggest news or the biggest wonder is whether Arsenal will sign a striker on deadline day. To be honest, there's nothing that is yet to fall through the cracks as far as information regarding the Arsenal transfers is concerned at this stage of the day. I remember today is the deadline day for the January transfer window. And then, in the other news, of course, Matthias Telles, who had earlier turned down a move to Tottenham Hotspurs, looks like has had a change of heart because he is going to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on a season on loan until the end of the season. He's already on his way to do a medical in London. Looks like that move is happening. There's no obligation for Tottenham to buy the youngster, but the striker is on his way to Tottenham Hotspurs. You do remember some time back in one of our previews, we did discuss that Tottenham is one of those teams that have been greatly hampered by injuries this season, and including their summer signing in striker that is Dominic Solanke. Yes, he did have another injury setback, which has kept him out of action for the last couple of weeks. And now the Tottenham are signing Matthias Telles, who had also been reported to be a target for the likes of Aston Villa, Arsenal, and Manchester United, who had been reported to have major interest there. And then, of course, the other news that we cannot skip is AC Roma rejecting Flamur's proposal for Zeki Seliki. That decision was made today, and so those are some of the major transfers that are already happening, at least as we speak. Then Ben Chilwell did cross from Chelsea to Crystal Palace, again on loan until the end of the season. So there's that. Deals continue to happen. Christopher Nkunku is one of those deals that have been discussed on deadline day, but it looks like Chelsea do not intend to let him go, according to reports that we do gather as of this evening. So initially, remember, at somewhere along the way, Bayern Munich expressed strong interest in wanting to sign Christopher Nkunku from Chelsea. Now, in return, it had been discussed that Chelsea would discuss a deal for Matthias Tel, but that did not bear any fruit. And as we have mentioned, Matthias Tel is on his way to Tottenham Hotspurs on loan until the end of the season with no obligation to buy. So there's that as well. So plenty of news that is making its rounds there. Of course, like we also discussed in the morning, Ivan Ferguson, the Brighton and Hove Albion striker, has switched sides. He has now joined West Ham United, where he does reunite with his former manager in Graham Potter. So that deal is also done and dusted. So I do feel that that's a good move. First of all, West Ham do like a striker. They only have Nicolas Fulcru. Mikel Antonio, unfortunately, did suffer a very bad accident, which, according to initial reports, indicated that we'll keep him out of action for at least a year as he recovers. We don't know what shape he will be in by the time he returns. Sorry about that noise. It was coming from the TV on the sidelines. So, in the bid, of course, Nicolas Fulcru has also suffered his injuries here and there during the course of the season. It goes without saying that, for me, my reservations about Ivan Ferguson have nothing to do with his talent, but about his availability as a player, because he suffered so many injuries in the last couple of seasons, at least 1.5 seasons, since his breakthrough at Brighton and Hove Albion. So there's that, of course, to think about. And then, of course, the other deal that we can talk about is Benfica agreeing a deal with AC Roma for Samuel Delahi to join AC Roma there. So that is also happening. And then, of course, there were reports that in the wake of Marcus Rashford's transfer to Aston Villa on loan until the end of the season, Manchester United would attack the market for a striker, but that again has yet to bear any fruit. It doesn't appear that Manchester United may sign a striker or even a winger for that matter. We are waiting to see. There's still some hours to go in this transfer window. And then, of course, the other major deal of this particular window that was discussed was Alejandro Garnacho to potentially Napoli, but that also did not come to fruition because there was a disparity between Napoli and Manchester United on the valuation of the player. Chelsea expressed some level of interest, but again, they did not go forward with that. The January transfer in itself is often a tricky one. You can burn your fingers or you can hit the jackpot. Years gone by, I do remember Manchester United went on to sign Nemanja Vidic and I think Patrice Evra during the January transfer window, and those went on to be very, very successful transfers. In recent times, Arsenal did sign Leandro Trossard after failing to land the services of Mikhailo Mudryk, who ended up at Chelsea from Shakhtar Donetsk in a deal that was believed to be wayward of 100 million euros. While it has not worked out for Mikhailo Mudryk at Chelsea, the same cannot be said about Arsenal's move for Leandro Trossard, because I do feel that while he may not have reached his full potential in regards to what he's capable of delivering, I do think that Arsenal got the better end of the deal as we far as transfers are concerned in that particular deal. So the January transfer window in its very nature is often a tricky one for clubs because you're attempting to sign clubs attempt to sign players from other clubs that are in different situations of the season. For example, you come to England, you want to sign a player from Southampton, from Ipswich, from Everton, and they're fighting for their lives. They're battling against relegation. So they are reluctant to let go of their players. You want to sign a player from Aston Villa, you want to sign a player from Newcastle, you want to sign a player from Tottenham Hotspurs, and they are fighting for either Champions League spot or the Europa League spot. And again, they are reluctant to let go of their players. They go to a team like Crystal Palace and say, I want to sign Joao Felipe Mateta. They're like, no, this is our only savior. He's only our goal scorer. He did score a burst, by the way, in the weekend against Manchester United. And they're like, no, we cannot let him go at the moment. We saw what happened with Arsenal in that reported deal with Real Sociedad for Martin Zubimendi. Arsenal wanted the player to come right away and the reason for that was Arsenal had a strong belief or conviction that Flamengo were coming for Jorginho, and they had hoped that had Real Sociedad agreed to those terms that the player does make the switch in this January transfer window, it would ease their options in letting Jorginho leave the club. But that did not come to fruition. So Real Sociedad stuck to their guns and said, yes, you can sign the player, but he cannot leave in January. He can only join you guys in the summer. Speaking of Jorginho, yes, Flamengo did contact Arsenal over the signing of Jorginho, the former Chelsea and Napoli player there, and FIFA Ballon d'Or winner, for those of you that remember. Now, Arsenal have declined any discussions regarding Jorginho because, one, they have the conviction that they cannot find a replacement. It's late in the market, and they could really still use his services. They are still fighting for on the front of the UEFA Champions League. They are still in the Premier League title pursuit. Never mind that they are also still in the Carabao Cup. Yes, they are out of the FA Cup, but they still have a slim chance of advancing to the finals of the Carabao Cup because they do play Newcastle on Wednesday night in that return leg of the semi-finals, for which they do find themselves in a 2-0 deficit at the time of kickoff for that particular fixture. So Arsenal have said no to any potential move for that is none other than Jorginho, for whom Flamengo wanted to sign. Guys, do let me know if you can't hear me well. Sometimes these microphones go off and you never realize until it's too late for you. But I hope you can hear me loud and clear. Then the other deal we cannot ignore in mentioning is James Ward-Prowse has returned to West Ham United following the cancellation of his loan deal to Nottingham Forest. Remember, he had joined Nottingham Forest on a season-long loan, but looks like that deal has been cancelled. I mean, he's been a no-show this season for the kind of player that he is. We all know he's very good at set pieces. He's a good pass of the ball and all that kind of thing. We all do remember his, good days at Southampton, but looks like it has not worked out at the City ground there, and he is returning to the Hammers there, his parent club. So again, keep an eye on that one. Then the other news: Axel Disasi from Chelsea to Tottenham Hotspurs on a loan until the end of the season. Remember, Tottenham Hotspurs, like we did mention, have suffered with lots of injuries, plenty of injuries this season. And because of that, the likes of Cristiano Romero, Mickey Van de Ven have also suffered their fair share of injuries, Destiny Udogie, and that kind of thing. So they sought to replenish their squad strength, and they looked to Chelsea's Axel Disasi, and Chelsea were happy to oblige because remember, Chelsea themselves recalled Trevor Chalobah from Crystal Palace from that loan deal. And then, of course, they do have Levi Colwill, they do have a Wesley Fofana, never mind that he had suffered an injury in between there. So they felt that they did have a bit of room to ease Axel Disasi and let him go on the move of that. And then, of course, there was We do remember still Tottenham tried to attempted to sign McQuay from Crystal Palace earlier on. Remember, Chelsea themselves did show express interest last summer in wanting to sign McQuay, but the team that really wanted him most was Newcastle, and they could not come to terms with Crystal Palace on the valuation of the player, so that deal did not happen. In this transfer window, Tottenham attempted to sign him. Again, it has not come to fruition, and that's when they resorted to Axel Disasi in that move. So we'll wait to see how things do continue to transpire in this January transfer window, because it does close today. As far as UK time is concerned, they still have a couple of hours to go. Much more than time would feed us here back on home soil. And then, of course, Marcus Edwards has joined Burnley, and that deal is closed. Now, you have a tier 2 club in England, and this is what money can really do. You have a tier 2 club in Burnley, that's, I mean, the Sky Bet Championship, going to Portugal and signing a top division player. Yes, Marcus Edwards joining Burnley on loan with a buy clause in that deal from Sporting Lisbon. How do I compare this for you? It's like Police FC of in the FIFA Big League going to Kenya, maybe to Goma here and sign a player. Never mind that that's the Kenyan league has more money than Ghana, but you get what I mean. So that's what money can do. That's what money can do. And then of course, Brighton also did make a signing in Stefanos Gismas for £22 million from Nuremberg, from Nuremberg there, and he will stay with the club on loan until the end of the season and eventually join the club. So some of the players that I had my sort of impressions that they could be on the move or could be on the market in terms of being quoted by other clubs. Eberechi Eze at Crystal Palace. I did expect that clubs would, want to try and sign him. Simon Adingra, the 2023 Africa Cup Nations Young Player of the tournament. Of course, Ekong was the player of the tournament, the Nigerian defender. For those of you that do remember, Trust Ekong. Yes. So those are some of the major transfer news that are making the rounds. And then Andrea Belotti is joining Benfica. Now, I mean, just gone by, Andrea Belotti, when he was still at Torino, he was like the hot cake. He was one of those hot cake strikers in the Italian Serie A, and things, didn't really work out for him in the long run, and he's ending up at Benfica there. So it's not happening for him. We talked about Ben Chilwell, Axel Disasi. We talked about Nico Gonzalez as the biggest news that is making the rounds as far as transfers are concerned. We discussed João Felix on his pending move to AC Milan on loan until the end of the season, and there's so many deals that are really making the rounds, and we do wait to see where that leads. Manchester United is Anthony did join Real Betis again in this January transfer window on loan until the end of the season. Yesterday was voted man of the match in Real Betis's 2-2 draw against Atletico Bilbao. So looks like he's had a great start to his career there in the Spanish La Liga. We are waiting to see more on that, or what will transpire from that side. And then today, Chelsea are in action up against West Ham United. That is in the Premier League. That's the last game. Excuse me. That's the last game of match day 24. So that one is being discussed. that game is on tonight. I think at kickoff will be at 11 p.m. East African time. And then, of course, you do have uh, Christopher Nkunku, like we had discussed, will be staying at Chelsea. That the interest from Bayern Munich and Manchester United, both clubs deemed the price tag too high for the player, because Chelsea wanted to demand anywhere between 70 to 80 million pounds for Christopher Nkunku, a fee that Bayern Munich and Manchester United, who were reported to have interest, that they deemed too high for them to, for them to pay for the striker there. So that is not happening. And then, like I mentioned, Crystal Palace rejected the bid from Tottenham Hotspur for their defender McQuay. So that is not happening as well. We talked about James Ward-Prowse and things of that nature. Then, of course, the other deal that did happen was Juventus signing Lloyd Kelly, the 26-year-old English defender, on loan until the end of the season with an obligation to buy for 20 million pounds from Newcastle. I mean, sometimes you hear these things and you're like, what? Anyway, it is what it is. Hey, maybe the other thing that I didn't mention to you guys about the Marcus Rashford deal is that there's an option for Aston Villa to buy Marcus Rashford for 40 million pounds should they feel the need to retain him at the end of his loan spell with them. So then you remember we did discuss Jordan Henderson heading from Ajax to AAC Monaco. Then there's a youngster, a striker called Mika Bill something. I'm not sure about the pronunciation of the second name, but he's a player that Arsenal signed and then joined Austria, a certain club in Austria, and then he has since switched sides to AAC Monaco. I think he did score in the weekend there, playing for AAC Monaco. So anyway, that's what is making the major news from the world of transfers on this deadline day. Do let me know what your thoughts are, who you think your club should sign, who you think your club should be going for. But like I said, then there was interest for Leon Bailey of Aston Villa from different clubs, and including clubs from the Saudi Pro League. But Aston Villa are reluctant to let Leon Bailey leave the club. So looks like he will be staying at the club. So we'll wait to see. Do let me know what your thoughts are on those transfer deals. If anything breaks between now and then, I'll be here to let you know. I'll be here to keep you abreast of the major stories that are making the rounds on this deadline day of the January transfer window. Otherwise, allow me to keep it at that for now and wish you a blessed rest of the evening. Catch you next time. Or perhaps if something drops much later today. See you.